Okay, you'll know what you're doing.
We're all learning as we go. But it's kind of fun. Each time I've put one of these out, I hear from like similar people. And I want that Legends class I want more people in there because I think it's really good.
I wish it would too. I think you'll get more Legends though as people age. But
Totally.
Especially women. But you have to remember my age group literally had no sports for women at all.
Well, tell me about that because you were telling me the other day in the gym, when you were a kid, women weren't allowed to run.
Well, it wasn't you weren't allowed. It wasn't thought of as healthy. They're definitely long distances. It wasn't encouraged because they thought it was bad for the reproductive organs.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy.
How old were you when that switched?
Well, I guess it was the Boston Marathon. When they first let women run the Boston Marathon, I was 22.
Mm-hmm.
So there were absolutely no sports, at least in the East Coast, for women in high school or college.
So you went all the way through your 20s hearing like it's not good to run.
Well, I don't know if I heard that. It just wasn't done.
It wasn't done. Flip that mic, it's upside down.
Okay.
I just don't want it to not catch. Sick. Yeah, that's kind of wild.
But when I was in high school, I wanted to run, and so I talked the coach into letting me run with the boys once, and I was just so embarrassed. I beat a few of them, but they laughed at me, and it was just embarrassing. Yeah.
So, like, you were kind of made fun because it was such a weird thing for a girl to run with the boys.
Yes, at that time.
Yeah.
So that's in the 60s.
And so
1960s.
It was in the 70s when women started in the Boston Marathon?
Yeah, and only 8 women went. Prior to that, I think 1966, there was a woman named Switzer who ran, but some man pulled her off the course. And seriously, I just remember this. I should look it up again.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I had incredibly athletic parents, both my mother and father.
Yeah.
My father would be 107 if he were alive.
Okay.
My mother would be 104. But they both were good athletes. My mother skied and skated and...
Ice skate, roller skate?
Ice skate.
Ice skate, yeah.
We lived on a lake, so in the winter we ice skated, and summer we sailed and swam and played tennis by propping up the net with a stick.
Yeah, nice.
So there were no real lessons, but I luckily had very athletic parents.
And so you do athletics with them?
I did, oh yes, growing up, absolutely.
Brothers and sisters?
No, an older sister.
Older sister. Was she
She wasn't as athletically inclined as I was.
Okay.
But
so you were like a tomboy before tomboys were...
Oh, absolutely. No, I was my father's son.
I love that.
He didn't get a boy.
So, yeah.
He used to call me Butch. That was my nickname.
You filled that gap.
I did.
That's awesome. Well, we got Sherry Walsh.
Hello.
She is 72 years old.
72.
72. Absolute rager in the mountains. We're currently still snow skiing and mountain biking are the big ones.
Yep.
And
yes.
How many days a year you think you get out on snow? Do you know?
No, I don't keep track.
But
I go at least 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Then I come to your gym.
Yeah. And then how often do you mountain bike?
Oh my gosh, that's 5 to 7 at this point, because unfortunately I have a back problem right now and I can't walk distance, but I can ride my bike.
Yeah.
So I do that, and they'll fix the bike back and I'll start walking again.
Walking again. I love it. So the way I met Sherry was pretty cool. Her and her husband Dennis, probably 4 or 5 years ago,
I think so, yeah.
rolled into the gym, and I forget how you guys got there.
Through Michelle McNair, who told us you were having a Legends.
Yeah, so we have a program. It's the Legends of Park City. It's for like 65, 75, however old you are. And the goal is to keep you doing the thing. So it's heavily modified because everybody in there has different hip replacement, different knee replacement, different back problem, different shoulder problem. So it's fun for us to try to figure out how can we keep you guys moving, and I think it's been good for you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
But when Sherry and Dennis rolled in, they led with, "We don't like the gym." And I was like,
I did. I think I said that right to you.
I
didn't even say hello yet. I said, "Just want you to know I hate gyms."
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you said. And my response was,
Okay,
well, since you're here, let's do something. And then you've been there pretty much ever since.
Yeah, obviously COVID put a little
Oh yeah, there was a break because COVID was harder for your age group
Yeah.
for sure. But what I want to talk about today is Sherry's still getting after it, but just through conversations with you at the gym, I've realized I'm 33, and if you were 33, we would be skiing together. And
You might
I would,
not keep up.
I'd be trying hard to keep up. Yeah, for sure. So, like, you were hucking cliffs, you were skiing off roofs. Like,
Well,
let's
at 20,
talk about it a little bit.
when I was 20, I moved to Aspen, started teaching skiing there. And that's another dumb thing. They didn't let women teach children. This is at least, I mean, I'm sorry, adults. We
Yeah.
had to teach children. This was at least in Aspen. And we couldn't be on the ski patrol, and that was Aspen. The
Yeah.
East Coast you could, but
Okay.
this is Aspen.
Aspen, no women allowed.
No,
Boys club.
no, it was a boys' club. I was
Yeah.
one of the few instructors. I mean, obviously, I met women in my age group who taught in other places, but
Mm-hmm.
so there was I at one point was on their little demo team. Yeah, I was a very, very talented skier.
Yeah.
That's all there is. I
So
used to
what-
race.
Yeah, tell me about that. So, racing, were you doing backcountry stuff? Were you doing cliff
Yes.
drops? Tell me about it. What
Oh,
were you
sure.
doing? Yeah.
We would backcountry ski, and we had the most awful skis. I mean, I was on 200 centimeters and going through powder.
How wide?
Oh, God, they were so skinny.
Just like long matchsticks.
Long matchsticks.
Yeah.
And
Brutal.
Yeah. But short skis came in around that time. It was
Mhm.
being introduced.
And so this is in the 70s?
Yes,
And
the 70s.
you go to Aspen, you're teaching kids.
Yeah, I eventually changed to teaching in the graduated length method that was started by Cliff Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 5-day-a-week program of teaching, and we did different lengths of skis.
Okay.
So that's who I was on the demo team with, and that was only within Aspen. When Cliff Taylor would show up, I'd be in his little demo team.
And so what were you doing on the demo team?
Well, you'd show how we could go down through moguls. We could, we just demonstrated the way this system worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wonderful way to teach people. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, in our off time, we'd backcountry ski. We didn't have mountain biking back then. We didn't really bike much. We did a lot of hiking and camping. And
Mm-hmm. So for backcountry, what was the setup? Did they have, this is before AT bindings.
Right. It was more like, what did it look like? It was just like a bear trap binding, kind of.
Yeah.
So you had a little wire around your back of your foot,
Yeah, and that would pick up.
and you'd clamp it down, and then we'd put literal skins. Were they seal skin? I don't know what they were.
This is some sort of animal hide.
Animal hide.
This is,
So you could go uphill, and then
Yeah.
you took them off so you could go downhill.
yeah. And were you guys dropping cliffs in those bear trap bindings?
Not, I guess a little, but we didn't get very far. It was kind of like plop.
Yeah, he hit it and just tumble out the front. And so in resorts, that's where you're doing more of like your cliff drops and how high were you going? And how old were you at this point?
Well, in Aspen, I was in my 20s,
Yeah.
up until 30. And then I got married and moved with my husband to Texas. It was like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
So I took up biathlons and running.
Okay. Awesome.
And I was thrilled any race I'd enter. After about a year, I'd win in my age group every single time. I'd take first place. I was just fast.
Yeah.
But again, kind of going back to combining this with the gym, I'm sorry we didn't have that type of thing. We didn't train. I joined a club. We just ran. We
Yeah.
didn't stretch. We didn't lift weights.
Yeah.
We just ran.
Uh-huh.
And I think that eventually broke my body down a lot.
Yeah.
We moved here over 30 years ago, and then of course I got back into my skiing, and
So you were about a decade in Texas.
just about. I was 40 when we moved here,
Okay.
and
And no skiing during
we'd
that
go
time?
now and again.
Just take
I
trips.
missed it. We'd just take trips.
Yeah. And then, so you mentioned it, there was no strength and conditioning. And was that just in general? There was no info out, or was it just not for women?
I wonder if it was just for women, because when I used to race a little teeny bit with like the Aspen Ski Club, it really wasn't I don't remember doing weights or anything.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
just,
yeah, it wasn't
there
a,
really wasn't. It wasn't a thought.
yeah,
I mean, you got to think about it. The Tour de France were smoking cigarettes at one time,
yeah,
so
yeah, it's different.
it was very different.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of more casual approaches to strength and conditioning, meaning if you're not on like a professional team of some sort, that came out through the 70s and 80s with like the whole Soviet revolution
Yes.
and like prolific use of steroids. It's amazing if you ever go back and look at it, like what they were able to accomplish with just a little bit of science.
Yeah.
And then that moved into high schools in the 80s and 90s. And
Oh
so
yeah, and I
that's
mean, I
kinda-
graduated from high school in 1968.
yeah, so you missed that by a decade
I
or two.
missed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to fling our legs out and bend our heads down to our knees.
Yeah, just like quick little
Oh yeah,
stretch,
quick
stretch,
little
stretch, good to
warm
go.
up sort of, and
Yeah.
shake our legs, and then we'd be
Yeah.
off into the race.
Definitely. So that was through your 40s,
Mhm.
30s to 40s. You were down in Texas running, doing triathlon kind of things.
Yeah, we came here when I was 40.
So you got here when you were 40, and then what? What were you doing from 40 to now?
Oh my gosh, I've been a spoiled Park City housewife.
I love
have
it.
to confess.
Let's hear about it. What were you
I
doing?
enjoyed raising our son immensely. That
Mhm.
was my best job. But well, Charlie Sturgis taught me how to mountain bike
Yeah, he's a legend.
when I first got here, and I drove my mountain bike with two little kids in the back of a Burley to the lesson,
Mhm.
and they stood out there, and I learned how to bike, and then we just would go out and bike. There were only about 15 to 20 miles of trails back then, so a lot of times we'd find deer paths or
Mhm.
animal
Oh,
tracks.
so you just go kind of bushwhack on your
Yeah,
bike. That's
yeah.
awesome.
And it was fun. I mean, I could bunny hop then. I didn't mind. I still don't mind falling, but I'm more cautious.
hmm
I didn't mind falling, and it was more fun to me to bike from my house and go to the top of Shadow Lake, which
Yeah.
is at the base of Jupiter.
Uh-huh.
I prefer biking uphill.
Yeah. Why do you like it uphill more?
It's the challenge of being able to do it, and
Yeah.
the physicality of it,
hmm
and the balance.
Yep.
I mean, downhill, it's
Just go fast and survive.
yeah. One time, I'm much more cautious. I'm still pretty fast, because
Believe that.
at least for my age group, I
Oh,
am.
you're probably the fastest in your age group.
Well, there are not a lot of women in their 70s who bike anymore. I ran out of all my friends.
You outlasted the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely real. So you started mountain biking when you got here. Charlie
Oh
taught
yeah.
you.
Oh yeah, and I was so excited to be back in a mountain town.
Yeah.
That's where I wanted to live.
hmm
I was madly in love. I still am. So I moved to Texas to be with my husband, but to get back into the mountains was my
It's a lot better.
yeah. And Dennis and I would hike and camp, and we'd take Kevin with us. And
hmm Yeah.
my two favorite things still are mountain biking and skiing, though.
Yeah.
And I continued running.
Okay. So when you got
Throughout
back,
here, I continued to run. I just didn't train to be fast anymore.
yeah,
I ran sheerly for pleasure.
just for fun, just going out and moving through the mountains.
Yes.
Yeah. So at age 40, you started mountain biking, still skiing as often as you could, and then you run like through the winter, or just
Oh
when it
yeah,
was
even
nice
in the
out?
winter.
Just always running too.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just kept running.
And now that you're 72, you've dropped running. When did running kind of fall
Oh, and I
out?
played tennis. I
Oh,
forgot I
tennis.
was a
Cool.
big tennis player from childhood.
Oh, sweet. So you played tennis kind of all the way through.
Yeah, until I
Awesome.
couldn't play tennis anymore.
When was that?
Oh, I don't know. I tore a muscle in my back, and that's. I just couldn't serve, and
Yeah, it just hurt. So is
Yeah.
that in your 60s? Is that in your 50s?
maybe 50s.
Okay. So you've been out of tennis for about 20
Oh,
years.
it's been quite a while.
Long enough to forget about it.
Yeah. My biggest thing I still miss is running. I
Mhm.
love the pure beauty of running. You put your little sneakers on, you leave.
Go. Yeah. How long ago did that fall off for you? When did that become not doable anymore?
50, I remember after my first back fusion, and I was 56 when I had a back fusion.
Yep. And that it would just, the pounding would irritate your back too much, or did the
Yes.
doctor tell you not to do it anymore?
Well,
Probably a little bit of both.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said no more, and I would go out and kind of jog.
Mhm.
But I realized I had to give it up.
Yeah.
And then obviously now with the artificial knees, there's
Mhm.
no running.
Yeah, so this is a super interesting thing about Sherry. You've had both knees replaced at the same time,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
And it didn't work that well.
It didn't.
Yeah.
They're stable, but they hurt,
Yeah.
and they hurt all the time.
And they think that could be due to like an allergy. Your body
They don't
just
seem to have an answer.
Yeah.
I've sort of given up pursuing it. It seems like it's just going to be the norm.
it's just what you're dealing with.
And I think that's when you said to me, or whatever I said, I don't want it to be defined by pain.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, it's going to hurt whether I sit at home or whether I ride my bike, or
Yeah.
so I just continue.
Keep going. So one thing that Sherry told me probably 3 years ago now, because we're always checking in with people like, does this feel good? Does this hurt? And she looked at me. She's like, everything hurts. I was like, should we do something different? And you said, no, I can be at home and hurt and be weak, or I can be here and hurt and be strong. And I'm gonna hurt and be strong because it was seemed like it's kind of your options at the moment. And I think
Yeah.
that's really a healthy perspective at some point. Now, like if you're on my end of this discussion, I'm 33. If every time I go to the gym, like my joints hurt, that's a different story. We should fix that. For everything that you've been through physically, it was like you're gonna have aches and pains, and if we can manage the pain and still train, now you're
Oh, yeah.
still
Well,
doing
that's
cool
what's
stuff.
exciting about the gym and your program.
Mhm.
Because when I do train with you, we've modified everything, and it doesn't hurt while I'm doing the exercises I do. We've eliminated squats, obviously, and just the program has been great. And I think I've gained a lot of strength, and
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just another challenge now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I can do. I think the biggest thing I'd like to express for people aging is don't bemoan what you were.
Yeah.
Do what you can and continue. I had a very great athletic career for
Yeah.
my age group, and I'm just hoping to stay strong. And I told Ben my goal was to be in the gym at 80,
She said that several times.
and I
Oh,
hope that's
like it.
true.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be mountain biking in my 80s. I don't doubt I will be I'll be skiing.
You're such a good skier. You can just do that
It-
blindfolded.
Yes.
Yeah.
Skiing started when I was so darn young, when it was so hard to ski that it's
Now you got good equipment, and it's just
that
cheating.
cheating.
Yeah. Which, that's super cool. So I could take you to Ohio and introduce you to a lot of people I know that are like 65, 70, and they're worried about just falling, just like walking around the house or going for a walk outside. But like you're mountain biking, where you're moving a lot faster, lots of rocks, uneven terrain, cactuses, all sorts of stuff to
Yeah.
get tangled up in. How's your risk tolerance, or how you approach risk reward? How has that changed from even when you were 50 to now?
That's a good question. I've never had much consciousness of being hurt. I think only now with the fused back, only now do I consider it a little, because now there's spots when I'm mountain biking that I'll get off and walk.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get off my bike, I'll just say, nah, the risk is too high at this point. Walk over it, get back on.
Yep. So if it's like you hit a technical part, you're like, it's a little
Yes.
dicey, because the
Yeah.
fall would just be so painful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if people know backslide, the backside of backslide, I've been getting off now.
And just walking it.
Get
Yeah.
down the first switch back, and then I keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's changed, but I don't worry about falling.
Yeah,
I-
which is cool.
I don't think about it.
Yeah. And
And we're working on better balance over at the gym.
we are. So this is interesting. Having said you've never really considered like the injury risk of kind of like your mountain pursuits, looking back now that you're 72, do you wish you would have considered it a little bit more in your 30s, 40s, 50s? Would you do anything different there?
No, because I actually never got terribly hurt.
You just dialed.
I never did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the worst thing was road rash when I was road biking.
Yeah, that's just part of road biking,
Yeah.
for sure. That's cool. So you really didn't get too many injuries from wrecks, crashes,
No,
that sort of thing?
not at all. And I fell off a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Deer paths are harder to ride.
Yeah, I did fall off a lot, but I didn't really get hurt
Yeah.
badly. I just have aged and wore out my body a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now I hope just staying strong will keep me going a little longer. I
Yep.
mean, I know I'm an age. I doubt I'll be doing this at 90.
It's good to have goals.
Why not?
Yeah. What? So, we know you're doing the gym stuff. You're over with us, and a big part of that is to be able to still get out on your skis, get on your mountain bikes, go for
Absolutely.
hikes, take the dog out. What else are you doing outside of the gym to stay sharp, stay athletic, stay young? Or is there anything else that you're doing?
All right, stay sharp. I've been teaching myself Spanish for 2 years now,
That's awesome.
and I'm getting quite good.
You can get at it.
Yeah.
You went to Mexico, like,
Yes.
were you able to
Oh, yeah,
kinda
I was
carry
able to
conversations?
converse a little. Of course, sometimes I think my accent is good, so then they speak very rapidly, and I'd be
Right.
going, please, despacio, slowly, slowly. That, I still paint. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I still paint. We still have a business in our home, the
Mm-hmm.
photography, so I work in that a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just keep doing what I've done
Yeah.
a lot of my life.
There's.
A lot of my life was centered around sports.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take up becoming a pilot like
Yeah.
my husband,
Yeah.
but
So there is one thing I know that you are doing you do some hormone replacement stuff.
oh yeah,
And
oh absolutely,
how's that helped you or not?
incredible.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, when I was 60, I had severe osteoporosis in my spine,
Mm-hmm.
and I got hooked up through a physician friend of ours he is a MD, but he got tired of treating older people's illnesses and went into hormone replacement and other ways of correcting imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
And so my general practitioner has told me I'm going to die because I take too much estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
But it changed my life. Over a 3-4 year period, I reversed osteoporosis completely.
Awesome.
If I were to fall now, I have like a 0.1% chance of breaking a hip.
Yeah.
I couldn't eliminate the arthritis totally,
Mhm.
but I'm sure it's helped. My skin is firmer and it doesn't just peel like a lot
Yeah.
of people. My hair's thicker. I think I told you this. I think eventually men, because my husband does it too, men and women
Mm-hmm.
will be replacing hormones with the more natural hormones. I'm not taking synthetic.
Yeah.
I think it'll be common when the 40-year-olds become my age. I think it'll be common.
For people to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
well, years
imagine.
ago they didn't think orange juice had any help orange juice and zinc were laughed at for helps with infection,
Yeah.
and now it's totally thought of.
Yep. Yeah.
It took 40 years for surgeons to believe if they washed their hands, they wouldn't kill people.
Yeah.
So
We are
I
kinda slow
I
there.
really feel pretty strongly about the hormone replacement.
Yeah. And how did you? So if somebody's out there hears this, how did you find someone to go to?
Well, here in Utah, it's called Freedom Health Care.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people who do this to the extent that Jeffrey Nelson does.
Mm-hmm.
You can still go to some of your GPs and gynecologists and get the synthetic hormones, but they don't do it at the doses that I do.
Yeah. So yours are higher than
Oh,
most other
much,
places
much.
do. And that's been
Much.
working out well.
Incredibly so. Finally, my GP, who's seen a few of my women friends who have gone to him,
Mm-hmm.
have said, well, there's something to this. You're,
Yeah.
you're doing so much better than a lot of the
Mhm.
people in your age group.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So yes, that was a big difference.
Yeah. And then just to wrap it up, if there was
Yes.
one thing you could change kind of about your whole like 20 to the last 50 years in terms of athletics, mountain athletics, like what would that advice be? What would you adjust, or would you keep it all the same?
I don't think I have much choice. If I could have, it would have been great to have known training.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have maybe not walked up to you and said, I hate gyms.
I love that you said that.
I think even though I only go 2 days a week, and
Yeah.
I'm sure 3 might be better, it still is amazing the amount of strength I've gained with 2.
Yeah.
But of course, I supplement it all the time with mountain biking.
You're always doing stuff.
I'm always doing things.
Yeah.
But it would have been fun. I'm really excited for the younger women, what they can be athletically.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much more options. I always say I was extremely lucky. I just happened to have very athletic parents.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I'd be like a lot of the 70 to 80-year-old women.
Yeah. Not have the background and relationship with the mountains that you do.
No. 2 of my 70-plus friends are afraid of falling.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying all older women are that way, but
Yeah.
they'll say that. They'll say to me, well, I don't want to fall. Well,
Yeah.
I don't even think about it.
Yeah, you're just out there raging.
Well, for a 70-plus-year-old, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Your
You're
story's
very
awesome.
welcome.
And
And thank
it.
you, Ben. His classes are amazing.
thanks, Jerry.
I'm very impressed. I love the concept of trying to gain the strength around the joints that are starting to fail, and I think that's a wonderful. It'll be wonderful for my future too.
Yeah, I think it'll help. See you at
Yeah.
82. We'll redo it.
Yes.
We'll do it again. It'll be awesome.
10 years from now? Okay.
Yeah.